My volume is up. Hi, Stella. Guys, welcome, 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 welcome. La Bestia, what's up? How are you? Guys, welcome. Welcome to our weekly check-in, our weekly pop-up, weekly check-in. We got Robert Noriega, got from Compton. Welcome. Greetings from New York. So good to see you guys here. I'm so happy to see people are joining. I'm so happy people are coming in. Welcome to Narc Survival 101 for our weekly check-in. I am Erica. Guys, I don't know if you noticed, I chopped off all of my hair. I chopped it all off. There's literally nothing back here, and I feel amazing. I really do. I love it. I love the short look. Hi, Monique. We got Brooklyn in the house. It feels great. It feels liberating just to cut off all that hair. It's going to grow back again, right? So just get rid of it. So good to see that you guys are joining us. Mark's so cool. We got St. Louis. Nice. Tasha, how are you? 68 Libra girl. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Absolutely. Love yourself first. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I just decided to, do something different with myself, and it just felt great. I just went to the salon and said, cut it all off, chop it all off. It grows back, right? Hair grows back. So it feels good. It feels just so lightweight. So anybody who's opting to go for short hair, I'd say go for it. Do something daring. Do something that makes you feel good and just gives you that liberating feeling. Thank you, La Bestia. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Is it normal for a narc to randomly text you after some time? Yes, it is. It's very normal. In fact, it's to be expected. Okay. After some time has gone by, usually if they text you, it's because they want to check your temperature. They want to see if there is, any chance that you will respond to them. If you are dealing with anyone, they basically want to know where you are. And they want to know, if they do reach out to you, any kind of response, which is really why no contact is important. Because the minute you respond to them, whether it be negative or positive, um, it just gives them that I can still have an effect on that person. A lot of time it could be because they are not dealing with the new supply or not dealing with anyone and they want to try to come back. Or, they could be going through narcissistic collapse where, everybody's pretty much abandoned them. But it's definitely normal for them to reach out to you. All right. All right, Benjamin, I'm not even going to justify that with an answer. Can you remove him, please? Benjamin. Benjamin Torres. I'm not going to justify that with an answer. I'm feeling too damn good to even be dealing with any trolls today, to be dealing with anyone who's trying to interrupt and bother this community, which, by the way, let me bring up these disclaimers for you guys. For anyone who is new to the chat and new to my channel, I'm not a medical professional. All right. I'm simply someone who has gone through the same shit that y'all have gone through, been going through. And I just managed to utilize my pain and turn it into power. And alongside that, I study psychology. So I'm not a professional yet. I'm not accredited yet. And I will help you with, the best of my abilities. So please just understand this is for general information. This is for educational purposes. And of course, continue to go with your professional help if you are going for professional help, okay? This is not meant to substitute it or replace it, all right? I'm just simply someone who wants to be here for people who need the help, because coming from someone who's gone through the motions by herself, trust and believe, I know what that feels like, and you're not alone. Number two, I do not tolerate bullying, whether it be towards people in the chat room, towards myself, or my moderators. So today I'm going to make an exception. I'm just going to allow my moderators to remove anyone who tries to troll. I'm not even going to entertain it. Satan, not today. All right. Number 3, guys, for those of you who already know, who've already been to the chat, please be sure to throw up those purple hearts for domestic violence awareness, narcissistic abuse awareness. And for the newbies, shout yourselves out. I'm going to try my best to scroll through to give you a shout out. And and just stick around. If you have questions, please ask. No judgment here. This is a safe space, okay? And I will be more than glad to remove anyone who chooses to threaten that. So just keep that in mind. All right, so let me just go back up for a second. I want to make sure I have... Oh, Libra girl, thank you, sweetheart. I thank you. I feel amazing. I really, really do. I really do, guys. And I want to share that with you. So let me just throw those vibes to you, okay? Throw some amazing vibes to you. You can go through so much in life, guys. Let me tell you something. You can go through narcissistic abuse. You can go through, faulty relationships, toxic relationships. You can go through so much, but it's how you turn that pain into power, okay? Turn it into power. I didn't always look like this. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm almost 40 years old. And if I manage to turn my pain into what I have now, and I feel amazing, trust me, you guys can do the same. Marcy, I don't blame you, sweetheart. I do not blame you. And it's hard. People who are in long relationships with, narcissistic people or people who are narcissists, when you have long standing relationships with these people, especially if you have children with them, it's hard to break free from those types of dynamics, because there are levels of codependency there. Maybe you rely on your narcissist with regards to finances because, you have children together, you have assets together, you have things together. So it's very, very hard to break out of that. And I know a lot of you get tired. A lot of you get tired of hearing that one question. Well, why did you stay so long? And why didn't you just get up and leave? It's a lot easier said than done, especially when the person you believed was your soulmate, your person, you're going to be with them for the rest of your life, was pretty much, screwing with your head, because that's exactly what was going on. They were conditioning you to remain put, to stay put. How many of you have dealt with someone who was nice to you one minute, but treated you like crap the next minute, and actually, portrayed that as, well, this is your punishment for you acting out, when the reality of it was is that they were punishing you for, asking questions, for seeing flaws in the things that they were saying or what they were doing, seeing those little holes. It's not, yeah, it's not easy. It really is not easy, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. It's not impossible to break free from those types of relationships. It's just sometimes it's harder to it's harder to break free, but it's not impossible. It really isn't. Little mixed mommy, why I don't understand is, I'm sorry, understand I'm such an empath and not built that way. Well, no, people tend to think that people who have been abused will, end up being like their abusers, or they'll end up, they use that as an excuse. Like, listen, if you have two people, one being a narcissistic person and another one being an empathetic person, if they were both abused by the same person, yet they both act differently. Oh, thank you so much. Marcia, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. When you have two people that have been abused by the same parent, narcissistic, emotionally detached, self-seeking, self-serving, they pretty much just use their kids as tools to get what they wanted out of them. But those two people, branch out to be two totally different people. The empathetic one thinks like, well, I've been through a lot of crap, but I could never see myself putting people through what I went through. And then you have the other one who's like, well, screw it. It was done to me, so I'm going to do it to everyone else. And they roll with the narrative of hurt people hurt people. They use their abuse, their trauma as an excuse. That is so cute. Thank you so much, Marcia. Thank you. That is so cute. I love it. But they roll with that, they use that as an excuse for their abuse. Well, I was abused as a child. I had a rough upbringing. I poverty filled, whatever you name it. And that's all it is. It's an excuse. It is an excuse. It's not something that you can, you justify. Abuse, you cannot justify it. How can you help someone like that see themselves? Like, help them recognize what they're doing. Here's the thing. Talise, you've been trying to do that. You have been trying to do that throughout your relationship. You, whether it be your family or in your romantic relationships, you guys have been trying to do that. And when you think that you are actually getting somewhere, it actually turns out to be that they were leading you to believe that you were getting somewhere. You understand? So, like, if you try to put a mirror to their face, they're going to try to deflect by any means necessary. Usually, people like that, they're so delusional that they look at everybody else as, you all are the ones who have a problem. I don't have a problem. You're the ones who have a problem with me. This is why their condition is just, it gets worse and worse over time. Usually it's supposed to subside between their teenage years into their adulthood. But if you have someone who has been sitting in that environment for so long and they just pretty much became so deeply rooted with it, when they get older, they don't get any better. They get way worse. And one, I remember what I told you guys last week. Let's not focus on the label of things, because it doesn't have to just be a narcissist. It could be anyone in your life who has demonstrated manipulative behaviors, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Okay. So just so you know, yeah, Libra girl, his household as a child was toxic. Yeah. Usually narcissistic people come from very toxic family settings. These are behaviors. This is a behavioral disorder. Okay. It's a personality disorder, but it's based on behaviors. It's learned behaviors. And as much as, Marcia, thank you, my love. Thank you, sweetheart. As much as, people want to say, oh, well, they have issues, because I get this all the time. I get this all the time. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Where people say, oh, you know, you're sitting here and you're saying all these mean and hurtful things about people who suffer a mental illness. Let's get one thing perfectly straight. And I know this is going to stream because I know different people are going to watch it. So let's get one thing perfectly straight. Okay. I am not here to insult anyone. I'm not here to bash anyone. What I'm here to simply do is point out facts, point out the truth of things. Okay. These people insult themselves. They insult themselves. They're the ones who act the way they do towards other people because everything they've done towards you was projection. Okay? I am simply relaying the messages. I'm simply informing people, look for these behaviors. I don't need anybody coming to me talking about, oh, well, does it say it in the DSM? Hello. Psychology, they're going to teach you the mechanics of how the mind works. But the proof is in the damn pudding, okay? And 6 billion people on this planet, 160 million people affected by narcissistic abuse in the US alone. You're going to tell me all of us go through the same thing from different people and we're not speaking the truth? No, it's bullshit. It's clear-cut bullshit. And when they sit there and people on the outside who don't understand your type of abuse, what you have gone through, they're going to sit there and be quick to say, oh, you want to judge people. You want to sit here and bash people. You want to sit here and talk crap and smear people. We're not talking crap. We're not judging people. We're not smearing anyone. We're simply testifying and we're speaking our truth. That's just the way it is. And I'm a firm believer, for those who do not want to understand the victim standpoint, the victim's, place in everything, those are either the kind of people who are enablers or on the same spectrum as these abusive people. They don't really want to understand where victims come from. The only time they're going to understand where a victim comes from is when they're seeing someone's name in the headlines of the news when they're killed, when they're murdered, domestic violence. That's when they'll stop and say, oh, so maybe this person was telling the truth. And all of this awareness, it's kind of causing some kind of, I don't know, some kind of effect on people where they're looking at it like, oh my God, everybody's a narcissist now. That term gets used so loosely. Listen, we're becoming more aware. We're creating more awareness, because where in the world did you hear about narcissism 10, 20 years ago? Okay. We didn't have the type of platforms we have now to expose these types of behaviors and help one another to find, to look at the patterns, look at the red flags. So when people try to tell me, oh, this is a mental disorder, this is a mental illness, and blah, 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 or whatever. Listen, we're not mad at them for being a narcissist. They didn't ask for that. We're not mad at them for, inheriting something, learning something. Thank you for the gift, sweetheart. Learning something from people who were supposed to teach them otherwise. No, the reason we're pissed off is because they sat there, did all of this shit consciously, and still had the nerve to try to blame it on us. All of the toxicity and everything that happened, they tried to blame that on us. They tried to deflect onto us when all we tried to do was love them unconditionally and actually try to make things work with them. I have a damn problem with that too. I have a problem with it too. I don't take advice from neck tattoo. Sweetheart, you don't have to take advice. I don't even know why you're here. All right? If you're going to jump on it, make sure you spit on it. Get out. We're going to go back to Wusa. I'm going to go back into my Zen mode. Exactly. Everyone knows right from wrong from birth. My son has autism. And even though my son has autism, he has a mental disability. He knows right from wrong. He knows right from wrong. His cognitive skills may be delayed, but he knows right from wrong. And if you have someone who has a personality disorder, first of all, we all got different types of personalities. And we all have more than one type. You understand? There's an imbalance in theirs. I get it. I get it. I understand completely. There is an imbalance in there. But at the end of the day, you are conscious of your choices. Okay? Let me give you a prime example of what gaslighting is. Okay? Tom and Mary are married, right? Tom goes to the office every single day. Sometimes he stays late nights. Sometimes he's all hours, working all hours. Tom has a secretary named Jenny. No offense to anybody whose name is Jenny, Tom, or Mary, okay? Just an example. And Mary is kind of suspicious because he's never really worked this late. He's never really stayed out like that. He's never really missed family dinners, okay? Mary confronts Tom. Listen, is there something going on at work? Is there something going on with your secretary? What have you? Tom tells Mary, you're crazy. Why would I do that? Why would I ever cheat on you? You're my wife. How could you think that way? You know something? Maybe if you get a hobby, you wouldn't be so focused on me. But the reality of it is, let's just say the reality of it is that Tom is sleeping with the secretary at the motel down the street from their job. Okay? Tom is actually doing these things, but he's trying to convince Mary she's crazy. She doesn't know what she's talking about. How can you say that? I love you. I care about you. Why would I ever do something like that to you? Why would I ever cheat on my wife or lose my family? When the reality is that if Tom is a narcissist, he's completely self-absorbed, he's completely selfish, and the mere fact that he's sitting there trying to convince his wife that she is even crazy for remotely thinking that way, when the reality is that he is actually committing infidelity, that is gaslighting. Trying to convince someone that they are insane, trying to make them second guess their sanity, trying to make them ponder and wonder. It's horrible. And I know a lot of you have gone through that. Okay, gaslighting comes in so many ways, shapes, and forms. Me and my friend Amanda are watching. If you guys haven't seen the show yet, it's on Netflix, Inventing Anna. Prime example of a narcissist. If you haven't seen the show, please watch it. It's a good show. It's a really good show. But she's a prime example of a narcissist. Wants to be famous, socialite, manipulative, makes people feel guilty, She pretty much uses people. She lies to people. She gaslights people. She strings them along. Prime example of that. Thank you, Amuse. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. And I hope that people are really, really, are really truly understanding to the situations that they have and truly understanding that I know it's hard to break free. And if your situation is, it's a little difficult to break free from that cycle, but it's not impossible. Continue moving forward with it. Continue moving forward. I know there are some people that are still in relationships with these kind of people who want to break away from them, who want to break away from the entire situation. And it's hard. It is hard, but you definitely have the support. You definitely have people who are, on the same boat as you and actually want to help you, and you know what, you guys can simultaneously help one another, believe that or not. Helping one another is not only being each other's support system, but you're actually, you're giving to others. And as we all know, what you give you get back, right? Brahman, I just jumped on, but why are you talking about players? Because that's what narcissists are. This is a chat room for narcissistic abuse. Anyone who's new to the channel or anyone who has just jumped on, this is a chat room for narcissistic abuse. This is for survivors of narcissistic abuse in relationships, family relationships, and love relationships. So if this is not the chat for you, you can bounce, you can leave. It's not a big deal, okay? Mine asked for a divorce and I gave her one, then flipped out. Oh my gosh. That right there is when they ask you, they push you and they say, oh, do this and do that. And they push you away as much as they can. They push you as far away as they can because you know why? They want you to chase them. They want you to chase them. They don't expect you to give in. So if like they sit there and they do all kinds of like mean and vile things and hurtful things to you, they actually literally expect you to chase after them. They want you to make the move in following after them. That totally feeds their ego. It's like, oh, give me a divorce, give me a divorce. I want a divorce. I'm not happy. You don't make me happy, and all this nonsense. You give it to her, and then what happens? Oh, how can you do this? How are you going to break up the family? How are you going to end things? Dude, you did yourself a good thing. Trust me. You did yourself a good thing. Yeah. Pink Cashmere says my ex told me she wanted me to chase her. It's crazy. It is. They do things to push you away, as far away as possible, because it's like I said, the rubber band effect. They want to push you, and then when they let go, boom, you're gonna come right after them. But when you decide, now I'm just gonna make a U-turn and I'm just gonna turn around, I'm gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep walking this way, you keep walking that way. They never expected you to do that. Even if they went for new supply, they never expect you to do that. They never expect you, no matter what their new supply is. Guys, new supply does not just have to be another person. It does not have to just be another person. It could be addictions. It could be lifestyles. It could be opportunity. It could be a lot of different things. It could be money. It could be anything. Okay? So let's just make sure we understand that it does not have to just be a new person. But they will do these things to get you to react, to get you to want them more, to get you to cling on to them more. Because they are so, when they're doing this, and it's crazy, their self esteem is so low, but their ego is so high. And it's like, it's a bluff. That's what it is. It's an ego bluff. They bluff. They will bluff. And when you tell them, you know what, it's done, it's over, I'm done, I can't do this anymore, what will they do? They will make attempts to try. They'll make attempts to try to get back into your good graces, to get you to understand, okay, look, maybe, and mind you guys, I'm using quotation marks because these are things used to appease you, okay? They want to appease you. They don't let me explain something. I got love for all of you guys, but I got to give you the reality of it. These people don't love themselves. Okay. So I'm going to explain to you. They really don't love you. They didn't love you. They loved your benefits. They loved what you could provide for them. Okay. If you have someone who was raised by parents who were emotionally detached, who were basically using them as tools, who were using them to stroke their parents' egos, and they basically made them a hardened shell, but yet you were providing on a level that not even their parents gave to them, all of the benefits that you're giving to them, that's what they love. They want your benefits. They want your empathy. They want your attention. They want your admiration. They want you to adore them. They want you to make them the center. And they want you to put them on the highest pedestal. Constant reassurance, constantly showing them, you're the only one in my life. You're the only one I want. You're the only one I adore. That's pretty much their MO. Um, Bruja, it's Inventing Anna. Inventing Anna. It's on Netflix. It's a really good show. And when you see the character, you'll see her traits. And a lot of you will probably see, the similarities in the way, she would speak to people, in the way she would act, her behaviors, the red flags. It's a really, really good show. Yeah, Sierra, what are we up almost on the last few episodes? It's really T Marie, Inventing Anna. Why do they use the kids against you? Mine is destroying my relationship with my son. They use the kids as pawns. They use the kids as pawns because they want the kids to be on their team. They want the kids to be on their side. So a lot of the time, if you co-parent with a narcissist, they will do things behind the kids' backs. If they're reactive towards you, if they're mean and angry and hostile, 9 out of 10 times the kids are not going to see that. They're not going to see the brutal or vile behaviors towards you. But when there's a situation that involves being around the kids, guys, if you guys are sending gifts, thank you so much. I just want to let you know now, because if I don't get a chance to look up to see, but thank you so much. Um, they'll use the kids basically to appear like the hero. They're like the hero, the favorite mom or the favorite dad. They're the cool mom or the cool dad. They have to appear cool in front of the kids, because when the time comes that they do something and they make it appear like they're oblivious once you react to what it is they're doing, because 9 out of 10 times, if you're co-parenting with the narcissist, you're going to be very reactive, towards their behaviors. They're going to make sure the kids are there to see it. They're going to make sure the kids are there to see what you are reacting towards, and they're going to flip it on you. They're going to flip everything on you because they have to appear to be the cool parent in front of the kids. Normal circumstances, I would just tell people, don't be emotional when it comes to them. Okay? Be as logical as you possibly can. Do not react, do not respond towards any types of attempts, because when they're around the children, listen, when they're around the kids by themselves, the majority of the time, they're basically trying to, thank you, em, emer, emerentia. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but I thank you, sweetheart. But hold on. Can you remove that door? That's fine. There are certain people I don't want in here. But when it boils down to the children, using the kids as pawns is very easy. And then when they have the kids in their own private time, 9 out of 10 times they're going to basically try to extract information out of those kids. Okay, so if you're dealing with a narcissist and they do have like visitation with the children, like if the kids go with them on the weekends or every other week, I would strongly advise, that you keep your personal life, okay, your private life, or anything you say, anything you do, anyone you're seeing, what have you, try to keep it away from your kids as much as possible. At least until they get a little older, where they understand the difference between giving mommy or daddy information and it's actually gossiping. Okay. But if you have young kids, definitely definitely consider that, because they will be, and they'll do things. They'll like buy the children. They'll try to buy the kids, especially if they want information. Okay. That's pretty much with any manipulative parent, but a narcissist, they will do whatever is necessary to extract information out of the children to know what's going on in your home, in your life, in your personal life, so they can always be a step ahead as to what's going on with you. I definitely agree. Down South says parents are here to teach and set the right example, positive, healthy mannerisms. Absolutely. Unfortunately, when you have parents who have been raised, because we got to remember it's a generational thing. It's a generational thing. And if parents are going to teach based on what they've learned, and of course, so forth and so on, you know, I think this is where we have to just cut it off. Like, if my mom, listen, because the excuses that go behind abusive behaviors, behind narcissists, behind sociopaths, there they have these issues, they have these problems, they have these mental disorders or what have you. But at the end of the day, you know, there is just that level of consciousness. You're conscious of what you do. If you committed a crime and you tried to cover it up, you were conscious of the crime that you were committing and that it was wrong. You were conscious of those things. So clearly, give me one moment, guys. I'm sorry. Clearly, if you're conscious of these things, you know that they're wrong. You know that you should not have been doing it. Why would you do it? Why would you do it? You did it because you chose to do it, knowing that it was wrong. Listen, guys, don't let people tell you that you're being bitter because, a situation, your relationship ended, or the person decided they wanted to be with someone else and it was what it was. Don't have people sitting here talking about, oh, you just don't know how to let go and you need to just, especially when they weren't there to see what went on in your situation. They weren't there to see what was going on between you and your partner or you and your family member. Okay. There is nothing to be bitter about. Think about it. Just think about it for a second. Why would I be bitter? I stayed in a situation with someone who clearly was not taught how to love properly. I stayed in a relationship with someone who does not love themselves, let alone didn't love me. Okay. But they tried everything in their power. I can get revenge on people. I can get mad at people. I can do all of these things. But then why am I going to stop my blessings because I'm holding on to something that just clearly was not meant for me? It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant for me. But at the end of the day, why would I be bitter? A lot of you dealt with very minimal people who were just giving you the bare minimum so they can get the maximum out of you. Okay. If anything, they're the ones who will be bitter because they're the ones, if you really look at it, like survivors, people who've endured narcissistic abuse and people who give their testimonies, they don't really sit there, like, they don't smear people. A lot of survivors are too afraid to even speak up on it. And they're too, and come on, a lot of them are too ashamed of what happened. So why would they sit there and say, oh my gosh, all of this happened to me? Right? But to sit there and smear people, like, first of all, if I'm talking about the shit that you did to me, that's not smearing. That is telling my side of the story because that's what actually happened. Now, given the fact that a lot of them will probably, more than likely, tell other people a very different side of everything, okay, because they probably would have gotten to those people way before the discard even happened. Now you got to also look at this factor. Who the hell cares what they think? A lot of them are talking to people who are in relation to them, family members, friends, colleagues, neighbors, whatever. These are all people who are in relation to them. So I would really tell you not to fret on what other people think of you with regards to what happened. You know your truth. You know what happened because at the end of the day, there were three people there. There was you, there was them, and there was God. Okay? And at the end, you will get a chance to tell your story and other people will see because they can only hold up their mask for so long. And the only reason a lot of them get away with a lot of the abuse that they they put onto people is because not many people talk about it. They're so used to dealing with people that are passive aggressive, that won't speak on it, that won't say anything, just say, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go my way, this person goes theirs. And they don't face repercussions. They don't face repercussions. But when you start to stand up and you start to say, oh, hell no, no, we're going to shed some light on this, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to have anyone talking shit on my name, throwing dirt on my name. And you know what? Not that I care what other people think, but you will not walk around with your head held high thinking that you can get away with another victim without me even saying my piece. No, no. Yes. Down south, we all, and I'm a firm believer in this, guys. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form. Okay? We are all connected in some way, shape, or form. It's no coincidence that millions and millions of people have gone through this kind of abuse. It is not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Okay? It is a disorder that affects people, a lot of different people from a lot of different places all over the world. Okay, just like bipolar disorder does, schizophrenia does, you have autism. Autism affects different people. It's just a matter of, again, we're not mad, we're not upset that these people are classified as narcissists, are diagnosed as MPD. We're not upset with that. We understand that. What we are upset with is they made conscious choices and now they're trying to play dumb like they didn't know what they were doing. You serious? No. I'm really nervous for whoever the new victim will be. You know what I would also, Lily, what I would also think about is also be nervous about if the next person they deal with can actually turn them into a victim. See, because narcissists, they think they got people mapped out. They have people mapped out. I can say I can do what I want. I can put my hands, I can yell, I can scream, I can be nasty, I can be rude, I can be cruel. But they don't really understand that this world is not only filled with empaths and codependents and narcissists, but there are, they're filled with other narcissists. So just because it's like saying, okay, if your narcissistic ex went on to the next one thinking, oh, fresh meat, got a new one. Meantime, that person is also a narcissist, and that person is looking at them the same way they're looking at them. And they're both playing each other until that time comes. You understand? You have narcissists who do end up with other narcissistic people who are just as bad, who are, they'll cheat, they'll scheme, they'll lie, they'll steal, they'll do whatever. And given the fact that a lot of people, one thing I noticed that a lot of people worry about, again, is their life after, being with the new supply, being with the new victim. You know, a lot of people think that, Lily, I'm sure. But a lot of people tend to think that they are, they're happy. They moved on with their life and they're happy and listen, I've made this a clear point before. I'll make it again just to give you that reassurance so you understand. These people are about image, okay? They're about image. They are not going to show everyone that they are failing, that they are falling. They could be on their last dime, and they will still front and stunt for everyone else. They'll still front and stunt for people, okay? They can have only $1 in their pocket, but they're trying to pretend like they live in a lifestyle like they got, 100 grand in their bank account. No, they will not have people knowing that, they're single and miserable, or they are sitting at home, holding themselves. They're not going to tell people that. They're not going to pose that for people. They're not going to sit there and embarrass themselves. They're going to continue to stunt and front. They're going to fake it till they make it. That is their attitude. So because they're all about image, understand that image that they're putting out there, because for a lot of you, if any of you are still going back to their profiles or back to their social media or doing, please stop it. Stop that right now. Don't do it. I want you, if you find yourself finding it hard to, block them, delete them. If you have to take your social media off, do it. Okay? Out of sight, out of mind. You have to detach from them. And you're not going to be able to detach from them if you're going back and forth looking at their social media or looking at what they're doing or going to their friends or family and trying to get information out of them. It's not going to help in your healing. Okay? So that will be the first step. Anyone who's new, anyone who's dealing with a discard, take it from someone who has gone through it. And anybody else, if you guys want to vouch for me, please vouch for me. Take it from others who have gone through it. You have to block them. You got to block them. You got to delete them. And if you have to, take off your social media for a while. Disconnect. So that way you can give yourself time to detach from them and detach from the situation. Because the more you continue to do it, the more you're still involved and the more you're going to be staying stuck. Down south, yes. He says, down south says that means their grandiose age isn't as grandiose as they created. It's just a facade. Yes. Yes. They're imagey people. I don't know if imagey is a word, but we're gonna make it a word today. Okay? They're all about image. They're about posing. That's all they're about. They're about keeping a straight face, keeping that poker face. Okay? You could be genuinely moving on with your life. You could be genuinely doing good things for yourself and actually healing, actually moving along. And they could be miserable, guys. I mean, beyond miserable. And they will still put that poker face. They will show the world that they're all good. They're happy. They're doing great. Okay, discarding you was the best thing I ever did. When the reality of it is that when you find yourself consistently thinking about them, or if you find yourself out of the blue thinking about them, or possibly even seeing them in your area, or seeing, even dreaming about them, if they're on your mind and you're not even bothering with them, you're not even checking in with them, you're not doing any of those things, that's because they're thinking about you. They're thinking about you. And they know you don't have to front. You don't have to front. You don't have to pose for the world. That's not your MO. So to see that you are genuinely succeeding in your life, you're moving on, you're being happier, you're creating abundance and you're doing everything that you never really got the opportunity to do while you were with them, that pisses them off. Okay? They'll smile in your face if they see you. Oh, that's great. Congratulations. So happy for you. And, all that stuff. But deep down inside, they're seething. They're pissed off because not only will they not be a part of that, not only will they not be able to take any credit for any of that, but they won't be able to, because now you excelled. Now you just moved up. You moved up. Your standards bar went from here to up here. So now they have no choice but to watch you. They have no choice but to watch you and just see you getting on with yourself. Yes, down south, they will try to sabotage. You have a lot of them, and I've noticed that, like, especially with female narcissists, because, female narcissists, listen, if I had to draw the line, but, down as far as petty is concerned, the female narcissists probably take the cake. But they will be the types to try to exploit you. So if you are becoming a success, or if you are actually just doing really well in your life and you're not doing it with them, maybe you're doing it with someone else, they will try to find ways to exploit you. They'll try to find ways to sabotage you, sabotage your relationship and your reputation. Okay? All because they're miserable. First of all, let's go back for a second. These people, they're self-sabotagers. They sabotage their own relationships. So if they sabotage the relationship with you and they ended things, I'm going to say prematurely, with you because they thought that they can do better, or something else just caught their eye and it's like, okay, well, this isn't really doing it for me anymore, but that over there looks good. And they think that, I'm going to go over there and check to see if the grass is greener, but I'll always have a spot over here, especially for you guys who've gone through the cycles more than once. who's gone through it over and over again, they put everything else ahead of you. They'll put everything else before you, okay? Opportunity, money, okay? Because they're very greedy. They can be very greedy. They always want that lifestyle. And if they have the opportunity, let's say, to kick it with someone else who, let's say, makes more money than you, or has more status than you, or who can actually put them in the spotlight with them, okay? Who can actually get them places and actually, do more for them, they will take that chance. They'll take that chance because they already know that in your relationship, they weren't contributing the way they were supposed to, the way they should have, as with any relationship. And at the end, it's like, how much more can they take out of you? Okay. I told you guys, a narcissist will discard you based on primarily two reasons. One, they got bored with you. They got bored with the situation. Or two, they have an idea that you're going to end up breaking up with them, and they're the types, they don't like rejection. They cannot handle rejection. So they'd rather reject you first, hurt you first, discard you first before you ever do it to them. That's a huge blow to their ego. And if you put narcissistic injury, if you inflict narcissistic injury towards a narcissistic person, that is grounds for trying to get some kind of revenge on you. Even if it means trying to hoover you back in, promising you that they will change, promising you that they've seen the light and they know the errors of their ways. And mind you, you didn't have to do anything to these people. You didn't have to do anything to them. But if they come back in promising you these things, what will eventually happen? They'll sit there, they'll let it stew for a while. They'll act like everything is good. And this, of course, is if you decide to take them back. They'll act like everything is good, everything is great between the two of you. And just when you actually think that they're changing, just when you actually think we had a breakthrough, oh my gosh, it took me having to be, me leaving for them to realize my worth and my value. Let's get one thing clear here, guys. They know your worth. They know your value. They just don't give a damn. Because they know you're worth more. They know you're more valuable. They do not care. They only care about you acknowledging them, their presence in your life, who they are in your life. That's all they care about. So when you think that you've hit a breakthrough and you think that everything is great, oh, wow, it took me walking away. Well, I'm glad he or she realized that I will walk away. There is no realization. There's no epiphany. There is none of that. There is, you gave me injury, so now I'm going to lure you back in with false promises. I'm going to tell you that I love you. I'm going to tell you that things will change. We're going to spend the rest of our lives together. They're going to tell you everything you wanted to hear. And the minute you drop your guard, that you begin to trust them, the minute you say, okay, I'm ready to do this, that's when they're going to do it to you. Okay? So please just heed my warnings, because anyone who's going through a discard, if you find out that, they're trying to hoover you back in, or they're trying to use different tactics to get you back into contact with them, or try to see them or meet up with them or whatever. Yeah, I don't give a damn if they call you and say, hey, you left your toothbrush in my bathroom. Throw it in the garbage. I'll get a new one. Okay? Trust and believe. Trust and believe. These people are very infantile. They will, and this is the part right here when I express these issues that they have, where people want to come at me and say, oh, how can you say stuff like that? Because it's true. It is true. And whether or not the people who are trying to come for me are narcissistic or just simply enablers because they know the behaviors, but they're being triggered by it, and yet they are in denial about it, I'm going to continue to speak the truth. And people don't have to listen to me. Guys, I've done my healing. I have done all my healing, okay? And I'm here to help people who are actually going through it, who actually need answers to their questions and actually want to heal. I don't give a damn about the naysayers. I don't give a damn about the manipulators. I don't give a damn about other people. It's all about people trying to heal from these situations who can understand. That's it. What do I do if my 20-year-old son stayed with his stepfather? Is his stepfather of narcissistic nature? Is he, narcissistically abusive? Does he have any mental illnesses or any other personality disorder? Rob, Rob Celeste, everything you're saying is definitely describing my wife and will probably soon be divorced. The red flags, man. The red flags. I advocate for men too. It's not just women. I advocate for men too, guys. And, I, as a woman who has paid the price for, narcissistic females, whether they be, my partner's mothers, my partner's exes, what have you, okay, what have you. Um, I'll be the first one to tell you, man, that kind of experience, for me to have to pay the price for someone else projecting abuse onto that person, projecting manipulation and trauma onto that person, I have one or two options. I could have either turned and, you know, just did the deed, did what I had to do, or I could have just went in my own direction. And I'm glad that I chose to just go on my own path, because regardless of it, even though, the person I was with treated me the way they did, I can't fully blame the other people who've been in his life, because he did make choices on his own. No one put a gun to his head. You know, I've been in narcissistically abusive relationships, but that does not change who I am. I mean, it changes me for the better, but it doesn't make me an abuser. It doesn't change me. I will not change who I am and become like an abuser. Unfortunately, the people that I have dealt with have actually chosen to adopt those abusive behaviors. They adopted narcissistically abusive behaviors and they projected it onto me. And, listen, I pray to God for them. That's all I can do. But I won't deal with them again. I won't, I'm not going to sit here and say, I could say, yeah, the people in your life turned you into a narcissistic asshole. But at the end of the day, you chose to do the things that you chose to do. So as much as I'd love to sit there and blame other people around them, they're just half of the problem. That person is still the other half. Katie, literally what I went through too, still recovering from it all. And it's going to take time, honey. It's going to take time. Okay. Hi, official. Hi, sweetheart. It's going to take time. You are, your healing is your journey. Excuse me. And however long that takes, you take all the time you need. Take all the time you need until you know for sure that you're able to, go on to the next phase. Okay. Healing it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You take all the time you need to get it done. XX Killer Mommy. The sad part is that they make you feel like it's your fault all the time, because that's what was done to them too. It was what was done to them too. A lot of the time, I mean, first of all, they don't take accountability. Okay. And the reason they don't take accountability is because what was projected onto them as being their fault by the other people in their life, those people didn't take accountability either. Okay. Remember, this is all, it's like the link of the chain. All right. It's all learned behavior. So if, let's say, mommy is a narcissist and she projected onto her, her son, and everything she projected onto him was his fault, no matter, even if she's the one who did it, if she's the one who said it, but it was his fault that she did it and she said it, mommy's not taking accountability. So he's going to take the accountability. But over time, he's going to adopt those same behaviors. So he's going to take the behaviors that he learned from her and project that onto someone else, which is, I'm not taking accountability for the things I said or the things I did, because it's your fault I said those things and did those things. If you didn't push me to say it, if you didn't push me to do it, mind you, you were nowhere near that person when they were saying it and when they were doing it. They'll always make excuses. They will always make excuses. A lot of them do, Tina. Yes, they play the nice guy persona and love bomb hard. But yeah, just give me 1 second. I just want to make sure they play the nice guy persona and love bomb hard, but it's not genuine. No, it's not. No, it's not. And again, a lot of them don't, a lot of them do love bomb, but some of them don't. Okay. Some of them don't. It just depends on the type of narcissist you're dealing with. The coverts usually, yes, they love bomb you. But now, if you're dealing with the introverted coverts as opposed to the extroverted coverts, the introverted ones or the inverted ones are more known to have a very shy demeanor. Okay. Those are known as the shy narcissists. They're very shy in that they don't command the attention of the room like an extroverted covert narcissist would. They're more the types that would be like in the corner, probably socially awkward in a sense, but they do, when they do get attention, I believe, and again, this is just, I'm still doing my research on that, but I believe that a lot of the time it's their way when they like when they act socially awkward or when they act like they're, like shy, humble. It's like that's also a defense mechanism for them because a lot of the introverted covert narcissists are the ones who've been severely abused, like verbally, emotionally, psychologically abused, and they've internalized all that insecurity and they kept that within themselves. So it pretty much is like they wear their insecurities on their sleeves, if that makes sense. So like the extroverted ones are the more grandiose ones. They're the ones who are like, I know I look good and I'm fly and all this stuff or whatever, but the introverted ones, the inverted ones, they wear their insecurities on their sleeve. These are the ones that are like, nah, I'm just a normal person, and but they have like that low self-esteem where they implement it in the conversations to try to fish for compliments from you, to gain that validation. You understand? So like they'll put themselves down. They will put themselves down just so you can lift them up. They live off of your validation, your confidence, you pretty much giving them that confidence, you manually putting them on the pedestal. The extroverted ones, I believe, are the ones who want the automatic pedestal. Okay, it's like automatic. But the inverted, introverted ones are the ones that are like, lift me up, put me on the pedestal, tell me I'm pretty, tell me I'm handsome, but they won't say it like that. They'll pretty much put themselves down to gain that, that validation from you. So they have your sympathy, they have your empathy, and they have you, you're feeling kind of sorry for them. Like they will literally, their supply is your sympathy. It's your like feeling bad for them and trying to lift up their spirits or, say, hey, no, don't talk about yourself that way. You're a great person. You're a nice person. Don't do that. That's feeding them, guys. That is feeding them. Where did you see her? Okay, let's see. Hold on one second. I just want to see. Um, oh, Willow, that is awesome. That is awesome. I'm very, very happy for you. I am very happy for you. I'm glad that you are. And I'm wishing you nothing but the best on your journey. You are more than welcome to stick around. If you need support, please let us know. Okay, I know therapy is a good way to help you in understanding your condition and help you in understanding, what you need to do to try to remedy things. Because, there really is no cure for anything, but there's a way to adapt and remedy things. But if you need a support system, you got it. Okay, so please continue to move forward and please continue to keep me posted. I definitely would love to just keep up to date with your journey and your healing. If they had a life-changing event, do they change or get worse? Thank you, country club girl. Life-changing events, it depends on what type of life-changing event that is. If it's a death in the family, most narcissistic people, most narcissists, they're very, because they're emotionally detached, I mean, their level of concern, and this may sound kind of harsh, but it is what it is. Their level of concern would probably be more on the superficial level of things. So it's like, for example, if you had a narcissist who was living with someone, an elderly person or what have you, and that person was their provider in the sense that like they provided a home for them, they put a roof over their head, and that person is no longer around to, because they passed on, they're no longer around to give that to them. Um, I don't really believe that life-changing events would change them in that aspect. Like they're so used to being so some people will call it self-sufficient. I just call it like self-seeking. That's what they are. They're self-seeking. They're looking out for their own needs. They're looking out for their own best interests, and everybody else around them. It's like my ideas, my ideals, my thoughts, my situations matter before anybody and everyone else. Life-changing situations, I think they just find other ways to adapt with other situations. I think they find other ways to be like chameleons and just try to adapt, try to figure out another way to get through the situation. But as far as them changing, I really don't believe that that would be the case. I really don't. I mean, is it possible? Maybe, because anybody's capable of anything. But I really don't. And these are the kind of people that are very, one narrow-minded and very self-absorbed and self-seeking when it boils down to their children. And these are their kids, mind you, their own flesh and blood. I really don't think they would change for anybody. And that's but again, situations can change. Situations can change. Is it possible? I'll give the benefit of the doubt and say yes, it's possible. But will it happen? That has to be one hell of a benefit of the doubt for it to actually happen. Mine is walking around unfazed and she's about to lose a lot. Is this possible? Posing. Remember I told you, they will not let people know when they're down and out. They won't show people when they're down and out. They're very prideful people. Okay? And the mere idea of someone who is, let's say, on the opposite of them. I'm not going to say an enemy, but I'm going to say on the opposite of them. The mere idea of someone they don't like, someone they don't care for, someone they discarded, the mere idea of that person knowing their situation is a huge, huge blow to their ego. It ain't going to happen. Unless you know for a fact and you know for sure, like the actual factuals, they'll walk around faking the funk. If they need to, they'll walk around faking the funk. Do they really not love their children? They don't know how to, and I say they don't know how to because again, they're going based on the parenting skills that were passed down to them from their own parents. So in most cases, I think if they knew how to love, see that's the thing that pretty much is where we get stuck with. If they knew how to love, okay, if they knew how to love, that would mean that someone in their environment was loving them unconditionally, was giving them the kind of love that they deserved as children, okay, and showing to them empathy and sympathy. But for someone to be the way they are, in this case a narcissist who's very self-absorbed and just self-serving, it's they don't know how to connect with their kids. There's just pretty much that barrier. Like they know how to provide for their kids. They will provide for them, on a material level. I think part of the reason they do that is because they need to, I mean, they can't handle criticism, so they can't stand the idea of people on the outside criticizing them and their parenting skills, which is why if you notice a lot of narcissist families or anyone who has a narcissist in their family, they really pride themselves in keeping everything secret. Like nothing leaves which is why in most narcissist dynamics, you have a narcissist, but you have an enabler. The enabler's job is to keep everything hidden, everything covered up. Okay, they're the ones who clean up the mess. They're the ones who make sure that even though there's chaos going on inside the house, outside it looks pristine. But yeah, I really don't I don't think they just don't know how to connect. They don't know how to love. But of course, in order for us to do that, we have to have parents who have taught us love, right? How do you break a trauma bond when you have a child and are financially dependent? I think everything goes in stages, okay? Because everyone's situation is different. Breaking trauma bonds for everyone is different. It's going to be different. But I think it would probably start with you have to work with one to get rid of the other first, okay? So the first thing would be if you're financially dependent, this is my opinion on it, all right? I just want to just let you know that. My first guess would be for me, break the financial dependency and become independent in that aspect first. Because when you break a trauma bond, or if you decide you want to break a trauma bond, you're going to have to release yourself from the situation. But in order to do that, you got to break that financial dependency. So you got to turn that dependency into independence. You have to try to find a way. And besides, you're going to need your own finances, because once you do break free from a trauma bond and you break free from that dynamic, you're going to need those finances to take care of your, future situations. So if it were me in my position, I would say I would first create financial independence and then work on the rest. Everything goes in stages. Okay. Financial dependency is very hard, I know, because a lot of people share relationships with people, of this nature, and they do have financial dependency. But you got to start with one to work the other. Okay. And in this case, we got to crawl before we can walk. So that would probably be the best thing first. Oh, I'm gonna call you S. You're very welcome, sweetheart. Hold on one second. In my case, I love in my own form. I disagree about us having no empathy. It can be debilitating trying to. It can. I mean, again, you know, how abuse is internalized from, you know, from by the victim, from the abuser. Everybody has. I think you know what I think it is, Willow, and a lot can agree with me on it. It's because of the callousness in the actions, the nature, the callousness in, nature that represents they don't have empathy. Because if you notice, a lot of victims talk about it, and the first thing that is spoken about is the level of, not no empathy, no regard for who they're hurting, no regard for the situation or the person that they're hurting within the situation. So a lot of people, when it comes down to the lack of empathy, it's because it's primarily due to the lack of disregard that a lot of abusers have when they're inflicting narcissistic abuse on people. You know, is there a way? I mean, listen, you're not born unempathetic. You're not born that way. You're not born like as soon as you come out, screw the world. I'm just going to do it for myself. Nobody's born that way. Nobody's born that way. It's the level of, emotions, the level of empathy that is shared between a parent and their child. Now, if you have someone who is, who's unempathetic and has children, and they have not shown empathy towards their children, I mean, those kids are going to internalize it in different ways. A lot of people who have dealt with these types of narcissists who have shown no empathy, we're talking zero, are people who have been, devalued, degraded, discarded, completely disregarded, disrespected. And one of the things I want people to understand, especially people who are diagnosed with NPD and who suffer narcissism, within their life as a whole, the level of pain inflicted on individuals, on victims from people of this nature is extreme. It is really extreme. And again, we're not going to say that you're wrong for being an NPD. You're because you don't ask for these things. You never asked for it. I didn't ask to be a codependent, but I was. But it's the level of the actions, the complete and utter disregard within their actions that that has given that impression. Someone who's a narcissist can say, "But Erica, I'm completely empathetic." Okay, but a lot of people who have dealt with people on your scale, on the spectrum that you are on, have dealt with people who have been completely unempathetic and completely disgraceful towards them. And we also have to look at it this way. When people go to therapy, because a lot of people have to go to therapy after these relationships, they have to go to therapy, whether it be from their family or in their relationship that they suffered PTSD, and they are going through the narcissistic discard. They're going through the withdrawals, they're going through the pain, the emotional pain, the psychological pain, and in some cases, the physical pain. When we go to therapy and we're explaining all of these things, we're explaining everything in detail, what has happened. People who have gone to therapy have been pretty much told, by professionals, this is narcissistic abuse. A lot of people have gone to therapy. And I mean, listen, I couldn't say every single narcissist is unempathetic, but for everyone who has gone through the narcissistic discard, they have experienced zero empathy. For everyone who's gone through a relationship with a narcissist, they thought they were receiving empathy, but that was not cognitive. That was not reactive empathy. Okay. A lot of it was pretty much made up. A lot of it was pretty much, posed. And it was because listen, I don't know any human being, any caring, giving, genuine human being who can turn their feelings at the flip of a switch. Okay? When you feel, when you're emotional, when you're truly genuine, I mean, completely immersed and invested in someone that you claim to care about, that you claim to love, that you claim held a piece of your heart, to go from that to get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to talk to you. I need you to stay away from me. Don't come near me. Don't call me. You're crazy. What are you talking about? It's just the level of disgrace, disrespect, disregard, okay, manipulation. I'm not saying that you're not empathetic, but the level of disgust that had been projected onto victims during the relationship, during the discard, and even post discard, when the victim is trying to gain some sense of reality back. They're trying to regain themselves back, where they end up smearing people for trying to move on with their life and doing what the narcissist initially asked them to do, which was what? Stay away. I got my life going on. I'm happy without you. I'm better without you. That's where that level of no empathy comes in. And that's why a lot of people talk about it, because it's just disgusting. It truly, truly is disgusting. That level of treatment is beyond disgusting. Katie, makes me realize I can't even recognize when someone is genuinely empathetic to me. And that's the part that That hurts the most. That's the part that's scary the most, because you don't know who's being genuine with you. You don't know who's being genuine. You don't know who's really trying to get to know you for you, or really trying to get to know you because they want something from you. And nowadays we used to look at it like that with celebrities, right? Celebrities don't know if people want to get to know them just to know them, or because of their status. It's the same way with us, and we're not celebrities. It just goes to show. Look at all these. Well, I mean, the reality shows. No, I don't really put too much on reality shows, but it's just like nowadays. It's like, how do I know? How do I know? How do I know someone's being genuine? How do I know someone is actually being honest? And the truth is, you don't know, but that's what your intuition is for. That's what discernment is for. Ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. I think that's part of the problem. People fear asking questions. Well, if I ask too many questions, they're going to think I'm being too nosy, and I don't want to push this person away. Look at everything you've been through. And that's because we didn't ask enough questions, right? Ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. Do you have to pry? No, don't pry. You got questions? Look at things, and like I said, if any of you enter anything with anyone, put your boundaries. It's okay to have boundaries. Keep your boundaries right here. Anyone who respects you will respect the fact that you have boundaries. If they're constantly trying to get you to, oh, compromise your boundaries or make you go, just go. Trust me. Now that a lot of you are going through your healing, you're going to start seeing bullshit a mile away. You're already going to start seeing things that you don't like. You're going to start seeing things that you don't like, and you will have no problem cutting it off right then and there. Nope. This is a little too familiar for me. I think I'm going to take my chance. I'm going to keep it pushing. Nothing wrong with that. You're not obligated. You are not obligated to talk to anyone, to date anyone, to sleep with anyone. You're not obligated to any of those things. You do things at your own pace. I was in a group meeting, and I was telling that to one of the girls. Do it on your terms. Your terms. Okay? You've been through enough. You've experienced it. You learned from it. Do it on your terms. We've been doing all of this on everybody else's terms. Now it's time to do it on yours. They're going to be doing it on theirs. You do it on yours. And if it matches up with you, then great. Go for it. Have fun with it. Enjoy yourself. Be safe with it. And just remember to bring your discernment and your intuition with you. And if it doesn't feel right, or if you're just not comfortable with it, then go the separate way. Nobody's going to fault you for it. Yeah, Katie, I'm the same way. Bub's awesome. I don't like people anymore. I love me. Hey, as long as you love someone, right? All right. And it's best to love yourself. It's best to put yourself first and have to worry about other people and, what everybody else thinks. Put all that energy and that love into yourself. That's it. Set those healthy boundaries with everybody. Stranger, every female out there is a potential covert narc. So you've been with every female? I'm just, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just saying every female out there is potentially a covert narc. So it's a valid question, no? I mean, listen, I'm not a narcissist. My friend here is not a narcissist. I have a lot of female friends who are not narcissists. That's why they're my friends. I think every female that you have encountered, okay, and with the exception of a lot of different females who do a lot of things for social media and things like that, have narcissistic traits. A lot of females do have narcissistic traits, okay? Often when we encounter certain types of people, in your case, if you encounter a narcissist female or a narcissistic one, your perception will be altered. Your perception is going to change because you're going to inherently have trust issues. So any female who comes in your direction, yeah, I mean, we look at today's society too. Look at how you have a lot of females who do a lot of things for social media, who jiggle it, dance for it, clap for it, you name it, right? They do all types of things on social media. Again, it's your discernment. You got to say to yourself, how well do I trust myself? Okay. If you don't trust yourself enough to make the right choices, the right decisions, then you're going to end up dealing with a lot of females who can alter your perception. You have to learn how to, what I do, put the bias aside. Okay. Because I can guarantee you this much. My ex probably thought I was like his ex, and I was the complete opposite. Okay. And I ended up paying for what other people had done in that person's life. And I had no motives. I had nothing but good intentions. So it's not good to judge a book by its cover, but I will say, if you're going to get involved with a female, absolutely bring your discernment. Okay. And trust your judgment. Pay attention. Look for red flags. Ask questions. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Don't, feel like, oh my gosh, if I don't do this, then I'll end up losing her. At the end of the day, if she values you, she values your opinion and just who you are as a person, then she's worth having. And if she argues with you, she gets defensive, she gets belligerent, you just dodged a bullet. So keep that in mind. Willow, I wondered why an empathetic person ends up attracted to a narcissist. I think it's like kismet. Kind of like kismet. It's like magnets. Because a narcissist, in my honest opinion, and again, this is my honest opinion, guys. I think that they truly do want to have the kind of feelings that we carry, the kind of emotions and empathy and sympathy and selflessness. They don't know how. These are things they don't know how. It's like, in order for me to say a narcissist can completely change, that means that it has to be total reprogramming and rewiring of their brain. And if you have someone who's a narcissist, and let's say they're 45 years old, I have to rewire and reprogram approximately 42 years of conditioning. That's a lot. That's a lot. Because they have been programmed to be this way. They have been trained to be this way. The minute the child was up, and I would say probably maybe 2 years old, 3 years old, their identity had been completely stripped from them. It is no longer about them. It's now about the narcissist person who was in their life, who has raised them, who has trained them. But they connect with was in their life, who has raised them, who has trained them. But they connect with, hi, Kate the model. Oh, yeah, I chopped all my hair off. I chopped it all off, girl. Exactly. Bub's Awesome said it perfectly. They admire the characteristics you have, but they don't know how, and no one had taught them. And, part of them, that's why when they say, they're jealous of the lifestyles as far as emotions is concerned. They're jealous of it because they truly want it, but they just don't know. Like, you ever notice how, if you guys went through the discard, if you were crying, if you were getting overly emotional, you were feeling some kind of way, and you're trying to deal, right? You're grieving, and they seem completely like aloof and disregarding your feelings and your emotions, almost to the point that your feelings and your emotions were like annoying them. That it was making them feel like, oh God, here we go, because they don't understand those emotions. All right, they don't understand what you're feeling. They don't understand. They're like robots. They're like robots. They don't understand what you're feeling and what you're experiencing at that time. They they just look at you like emotions, feelings. It's like a computer, and they can't process it. They can't. Bubs awesome. Trust me, I know how you feel. I stopped crying a long time ago. After I had my last trigger, my last severe trigger, I stopped crying after that. That's when I knew I was done. Yes. Keshak 715 says they're jealous of how other people love you. Absolutely. Rob Celeste, she just wants everything else to chase the new emotions and having someone else better. I've had to cut myself and my feelings and emotions off. I feel dead inside now, isolating them all. You know, something isolation, a lot of people tend to think that isolation is a bad thing after going through it. Let me tell you something. I went through isolation. I find it to be normal that after everything, when you're going through the grieving process, you isolate. You basically just separate yourself from everything and everyone to kind of process everything and try to configure things. And I want people to understand that if you're in isolation or if you are going through the motions of the discard, if you feel yourself spiraling, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Don't hesitate to email me or send me a private message. I know that the isolation part can be very, very hard and very like, it can be deep and depressing. It can. But if you have the proper support system that you need to help you through it, to help you get through it, you can actually, there are healthier ways of trying to, you're going to still grieve, but there are healthier ways to try to get through it, to get through the process. I'm lucky because I was alone. I was by myself. I had to do it on my own. I'm a very spiritual person, reconnected with God, and here I am now. I'm here now helping other people get through it. And isolation can be a good thing for people, but some people can internalize that isolation and it could be unhealthy for them. People can turn to, a lot of different drugs, alcohol, you know, um, sexual activities, things like that, to try to cope. These are ways that they try to cope with it. And I just want you to know that, if you are unsure of how to do it or how to get through it, or if you need the support, just reach out. Let me know. Okay. I'll be more than glad to walk you through it. And just so I remind you guys, I forgot to mention in the beginning, um, we're doing Zoom. I've been doing Zoom group meetings. So far, I had the first group meeting this past Saturday, which was awesome. Had an amazing time with amazing people. And it was just talking, laughing, just getting it out. And it's kind of like it was like a campfire type thing. It was like a campfire type situation. Everybody had their drinks. Everybody was talking, laughing. It was just an amazing night. So if you're interested in doing Zoom group meetings, please send me an email, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. Okay, I do also do one-on-ones, but one-on-ones I do at least twice a month. Um, but the Zoom group meetings, I'm going to try to see if I could just do weekly because I want to incorporate different groups. So this past Saturday was group A, excuse me, was group A. Working on group B. So if you are interested, then please send me an email. I will send you a non-disclosure notice, which pretty much lets everybody in. It protects everyone in the group chats, okay? Everyone's identities, everyone's information. But if you're interested in it, absolutely send me an email. We will be working on the second group, which is Group B. I'm working on setting up the meeting for that group, and I'm hoping it'll be just as live and just as fun as the first group. Narc Survival 101. Okay, so it's NA. It's like my handle, Narc Survival 101@gmail.com. All right, you send me the email. I'll send you the disclosure notice, and then we can take it from there. Absolutely, Katie. Anyone who wants to join is welcome. I do them in separate groups though. I do them males and I do them females, okay? So the females will have their own support group, the men will have their own support group, and eventually we'll incorporate. I just want to make everyone feel comfortable in joining the meetings and talking, and these are support groups. They are for free. There is no charge, okay? So you can join them. And yes, Stella, my good friend Stella, she accompanies me with the Zoom. My good friend Amanda accompanies me. They're both my moderators, and they're both, they if you guys are familiar with speaking with them on here, they will also be in the Zoom meetings as well. And but I also do one-on-one as well. So if you're more comfortable with one-on-one, the only difference is that's once a month. I'm sorry, twice a month. All right. SSBBW. Well, what I do is when you send me the email, if you're interested, then I usually, because I have to set up the schedule, but I'll, email you within 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours when the actual meeting, since I'm just now starting these, I'm trying to organize a calendar. Okay. But for right now, 24 to 48 hours, I will send you the link for the Zoom, the room, and we'll take it from there, so I can make sure that it'll accommodate your schedule. Okay. I thank you, Rob, so much. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I was trying my best to stay as professional and calm, and I didn't. Did I curse? No, I don't think I cursed today. I don't think. I'm telling you guys, this haircut got me feeling all sassy. I'm sassified today, guys. I'm sassified. Willow, have you heard of Quilt? No, I don't think I have. Is that an app? Is that like Zoom? But this, yeah, I hope that my language, I'm trying to keep it at a minimum, like the cussing, I'm really trying to keep it at a minimum. But sometimes, sometimes people try to bring it out of me. Thank you, official. Thank you. I am, yes, guys, if you are, let me tell you something. Cutting my hair off felt amazing. It really felt like I just took off a lot of dead weight, and I was nervous of how it was gonna look, but I'm really glad that I did it. And now I'm like, my one of my friends is like, "Don't get all sassy." I'm like, "Girl, please, I'm already satisfied. Who you talking to? Come on now." Absolutely, Willow. Absolutely, I'll definitely look into it. Thank you. Okay, so it's Magenta Bitch. She says, "Everyone, go read Psychopath free if you haven't already. So good and has been helping me a lot." So she's basically suggesting, I guess, a book to read. Hey, it's free. Doesn't hurt to read it, guys. Does not hurt to read it. How should I act around her after she asked me to leave? You can see your children, maybe. Just be, you know what? A lot of people use the method gray rock, which is pretty much kind of like being as still as a rock. Um, I would truthfully say just be neutral. Be neutral, be neutral, be cordial. I mean, it's when it involves the kids, you got to try your best, try not to be reactive or responsive. If she gets too emotional, if she gets like most of them do, a little out of hand or irate or what have you, you know what, just dismiss it. Just be just be dismissive about it. Okay? It doesn't pay to argue, it doesn't pay to yell at each other, and especially with the kids around, it doesn't pay for any of that. It really doesn't. And and just understand that a lot of the time this is, thank you, graceful butterfly, thank you, sweetheart. It usually is a way to get you to be reactive, to show that you are emotionally unstable. Okay. And if you're going to be going through the process of a divorce, you want to be as logical and as neutral as possible. Trust me. Just gray rock, gray rocket. That's it. Be boring, be boring. Just be like, okay, all right, fine. It may sound like you're appeasing her, which it is the case, but you're not being reactive towards any of her attempts, and you're showing indifference. You're showing indifference. And if, during that time she's getting, maybe she's getting stupid, or she's getting out of hand with you, out of pocket with you, and she's getting, disrespectful, what have you, Just keep proof of everything, all right? So if she's texting you, calling, emails, what have you, keep proof of everything, all right? Because narcissistic abuse, manipulation, psychological abuse, very hard to prove in court. Very hard to prove in court. So you always want to make sure you keep proof of everything, every bit of communication. I know, SSBBW, I know it's hard. It is hard to not be reactive. It really is. But like I said, you know something? It's like, you know how actors do when they have to cut because they got to do the scene all over, and they're like, that's how you want to do it. You just want to, that's it. Take yourself to your safe space and just be like, you know something? My reaction, just think of it this way, my not reacting to them annoys them, bothers them, it irks them. Okay, they want you to react, they want you to be aggressive and mad and emotional, but if you don't react, think of it that way, it does, it bothers them. Indifference, and it bothers them to the core. Like they're just like, say something, like I want you to. They'll get aggressive, they'll get stupid, they'll do all kinds of stuff, and just you being like, it's just, it'll eat at them. Okay, that's the best revenge you can get on them, guys. Giving them indifference is like throwing boric acid boric acid on them. It's just, it'll eat at them. Juju, if you don't react, will they leave you alone? Eventually they do. Eventually they do, until they try to come back around again. You know, it may be, it may be short-lived. Um it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, hell, it could be a couple of years. But eventually they'll see it, that it will it'll get boring for them, and they'll just go for something else until it's time to try to find their way back to you again. Okay? So keep on with the non-reactive. Just be like, that's it. No response, no emotions, no nothing. Shan Lang, I plan on moving out of the state to start fresh, and I wish you best on that, sweetheart. I do. I do. I hope it works for you, and I hope you, oh, Willows. Yeah, Willow, I'm gonna tell you, man, my family is rooted. My family is rooted in narcissism. It's deeply rooted. Narcissism and sociopathy. So I did my due diligence in doing the research, because once you understand what it's about, and once you understand the motives and the tactics and everything, you kind of naturally become indifferent. And it has definitely worked for me. But yeah, I'm sorry, Shan Lang. I do hope that works for you. Okay, and I hope that manage to you manage to really get your life in order and just start fresh, start new, and narc free for good. All right. So I will definitely keep you in my prayers. Um, for the person who said my son is adorable, thank you. What do you do to keep a narc family like that together, or just leave? I prefer to leave. I think the best for the mental health, it's best to leave. Okay? It's best to leave. Abusive, narcissistically abusive relationships are very, very hazardous and very detrimental to your mind, to your health, your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. But this type of abuse, if it's ongoing, if it's going back and forth, in and out, can cause severe damage to the brain, like physical damage to the brain. Okay? And this is done by research. And it's, I don't want to take that chance. My brain is, very important. We need our brain. We need our brain to come to our senses, and we need our brain to be logical, so we can do things and understand things, accordingly. But narcissistic abuse can cause damage to your brain, guys, your actual physical brain. So think about that. Think about that before going back. if you're thinking about going back, think about that before continuing. If you're contemplating on ending a relationship, I want you to think about that. Okay? It causes damage to your physical brain. What frustrates a narcissist? What doesn't? Not doing what they want to do, not succumbing to their every whim, and not, being lured in by their manipulation, not, appeasing them, not taking care of them, not giving them what they want, showing indifference, showing them that you don't care. It's just so many things. There are so many things that would frustrate them, that would annoy them, that will, they're about getting their way. They're about getting what they want. Okay. And if you're not fulfilling that, or if you're not falling for their bullshit, that would pretty much annoy them. That really would pretty much annoy them. And Robert says positive success that doesn't involve them or making it about them. Doing anything outside of them. You know what I'm saying? Like actually having your own life, your own stuff, your own things in order, and doing things that don't involve them or include, that don't include them. Your success, everything. It's all about them. Okay? The world revolves around them. They belong in the spotlight. My Narc family refuses to come around now that the veil has been removed. Why is that? Because they know they fucked up. Simplest way I can put it, sweetheart. They know that you know, and because you know, they know that their attempts cannot have any effect on you. And they know that whatever they try to do, they won't be able to get away with it. But guys, I want you guys to know that I appreciate all of you. For those, if I didn't get to answer your questions, I apologize. I hope my moderators and other people in the room were able to give you the answers. If it's something that you need that needs to go further than the live, you can always email me. You can always send me a personal message. I'll be more than glad to respond to it. Yeah, you just please send me an email, guys, if you're interested in the one-on-ones and the Zoom the Zoom meetings. Again, to narcsurvival101@gmail.com. Oh, down south, I thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you coming out tonight. I appreciate all of you, sharing your wisdom, showing some love. To everyone who sent me gifts, thank you so very much. I'm so appreciative of it. You guys are amazing. To everyone who is just now joining or who's just now started to follow the channel, thank you so very much for your support. I'm appreciative of you as well. Okay, guys, if you guys have me on here, please follow me also on YouTube. The link is in the bio. I do lives on Fridays on YouTube, okay, on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in furthering, and learning more, or just meeting some more people, some more cool people, please go to the YouTube on Friday. My live start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and if you subscribe, you'll be notified of the upcoming YouTube live. All right. Oh, sweets, you're very welcome, Stella, my girl. Oh, Rob, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And I listen. I keep you. I'll keep you in my prayers. All right. Just remember, keep your children in mind. Okay. Keep your kids in mind. Remember that they're the most important out of everything, and you can't let her win. Don't let her win. Okay. And you are more than glad to, send an email. I'm sorry. You're more than welcome. I'm getting tired. I already feel it. You're more than welcome to send me an email. If you want to just keep me up to date on your progress, or if you have any other questions, I'll be more than glad to answer any questions you may have. Okay. Um, S S M Mwaja. I think I said it. I don't know if I said your name right, sweetheart. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna call you S. Okay. I'm glad that I was able to answer your questions. I'm glad that you were able to be a part of the live. You were able to be a part of, all of the regulars and the other newbies who have come in. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can either send me a message, a personal message on Instagram, or you can send me an email on my email address, which is the narcsurvival101 at gmail.com. And I just hope that you guys, S is fine. Thank you, sweetheart, because I was trying to but anybody who has questions, anyone who wants to go further beyond it, it may take me a little bit, but I'll be more than glad to answer any questions that you may have. Oh, Stacy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. And when your child is in a relationship, because a lot of them live in denial with the whole situation, which is primarily what an enabler does. I mean, a lot of us have lived in denial when it boiled down to our relationships. Um, and the fact that there is alcohol abuse. Yeah, Jess, just send me a message. You can send me a message on Instagram, or if it's longer, more extended, you can send me a message to my email, and I'll be more than glad to answer. I know it's difficult dealing with someone who, especially someone who suffers alcohol abuse, because that heightens alcoholism, heightens the abusive behaviors, and it heightens the reactions of the disorder. So the only thing I truthfully can say, because it's hard to break those types of behaviors, especially when it's outside of yourself. You can always break free from something like that, but if your daughter stays in that connection and she's not trying to get away from that, even though there are dangerous factors involved, she's clearly an enabler, and that's a very hard pattern to break when you're enabling situations, because oftentimes enablers are living in denial. They're living in complete denial. And I wish I could give the best advice possible to help you break her free from that. Unfortunately, if she's not going to try to break free from that, she's just going to end up going back into it or end up being there. I think under the circumstances, what I would truthfully do myself, I try to look up, like, if I had a daughter, I try to look up articles and documentaries of different people, different women who have been in domestically abusive relationships that have ended up. I mean, look at the Gabby Petito situation, and you have so many domestic violence situations where a lot of women have been killed. There is a thing called femicide, and it's situations that could have been prevented, but the circumstances, everyone's circumstances are different. um I would just strongly, strongly, advise to try to just put it in her head, the dangers that she poses for herself if she stays in that relationship. It's very dangerous to be in a relationship with a narcissist, let alone someone who's an alcoholic or an alcoholic narcissist. It's beyond dangerous, and she needs to understand the severity of that. Okay, it's extremely, extremely dangerous. Krypton, I honestly want to go no contact, don't know how when a child is involved. I was in one for 11 years, left last year, and put in order protection, have 3 kids. It's, you know what, going full no contact is almost impossible when you have children involved. It really is. But what I would say is this much. If you have the kids, her level of contact should be solely pertaining to the kids. Or his, I'm sorry. I don't know. Okay, I think you're a guy. Okay, I'm sorry about that. But her level of contact should be solely for the children. Okay? Keep it limited. Just keep it limited solely for the kids. All right? If there's no need for her to be consistently contacting you, in other words, if the house isn't on fire, if the kids are all in one piece and everything is all good, any of her attempts, ignore it. Ignore it. Okay? And when it boils down to your children being on her end, when they're not with you, you just contact solely for the kids. That's it. Even if it's daily, I just want to check on the kids. Okay, no problem. Check on the kids. That's it. That's it. Keep it as minimal as possible. Okay, going no contact completely. You can't do it with another. The parent of your children. It's impossible. Stacy, I mean, yeah, you can. You have so many different photos. You can go to Google. They have a lot. You can go to like precinct photos. I believe they have some, and also on YouTube. YouTube has a lot of documentaries on a lot of, narcissistically abusive relationships. If you want, I can try to look up some articles for you. If you want to send me an email, I can look up some articles for you and send it to you. So maybe, because sometimes it just takes the person seeing with their own two eyes what the possibilities are. I just watched a video on YouTube with regards to oh my gosh, and I can't remember the name, but this wasn't too long ago where this girl, I think there was somewhere out in the UK. She was a social media health fitness blogger. I don't know if you guys know the name of the, please put the name on the, but she was a health fitness blogger, and she had a boyfriend that she met on Tinder. They dated for a while, but over time she started noticing that the behaviors between them, he was getting very controlling, very possessive. He was trying to create a wedge between her and her friends. It just got really, really bad to the point that she ended things with him. He was begging and pleading and telling her, I love you. I'm begging you, please take me back. I promise it'll change. Giving her the whole song and dance. And she caved in. She got back with him. They went back, everything was smooth in the beginning, and then what happens? Boom, right back to the same BS. And he was showing his patterns all over again. And it just got to the point that, he was stifling her. He was very suffocating. He was constantly on her. He was, he wouldn't let her breathe or what. And she ended up breaking things off with him. So when she broke things off with him, what happened? He was stalking her. He was stalking her, constantly stalking her, to the point where wherever she posted up on, mind you, she had him blocked on social media. She had him blocked, but he went and manipulated another chick to follow her on social media to monitor her. This is why I say, people, be very careful. Be very careful who you add on your social media. Be very careful, because you just don't know. And he ended up finding out her location, because when she would post, her locations, wherever she was tagged at, I guess that person would give him the information. And yeah, but when the girl went back to him, gave him the information, and that's how he managed to know where she was. And then one day she gets up, she goes to the gym, she's working out, she's doing a vlog for her for her social media. She's doing a vlog, and the security cameras of the gym show the ex-boyfriend literally going up the stairs in the gym and going into the same. She was there early in the day, so it was practically empty, and he's working out right next to her, like literally right next to her. And she gets up and she's like, and you could tell she was talking to him, and what the friend said when they were doing the interview was, she asked him, "What are you doing here? Why aren't you at work?" And he was like, "Oh, it's none of your business. I can work out wherever I want, blah, 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 whatever." So he ends up leaving the gym, ends up going into his car, and he ends up sitting outside waiting for her to come out. Okay? Now, the one thing I got to tell you guys, and I'm going to give you trigger warning because it's not a very good story and it does not end pretty. Okay? He goes and he buys a paring knife, and he bought, I think, some kind of axe pick or something like that. When she gets out of the gym, she's thinking he left already. This is why I say this is not a joke, man. This is not a joke. Okay? These people, narcissist or not, you just got to be careful. You have to be careful, okay? She walks out of the gym to go to her car. Her friends are like, "You know what? Just go home. Just leave and go home." Because she's scared. They went to the police before. She was really scared. She goes to her car. He's already in the parking lot. He gets out of his car, stabs her 75 times, right in her car, in the parking lot. Okay? This man had a history of stalking his ex-girlfriends, had a history of threatening his ex-girlfriends, history of smearing and doing all kinds of things to his ex-girlfriend. And these are the kinds of people, mind you, they met online. They met online, guys. Be very careful. I'm not trying to tell you don't what to do, but you have to be extremely careful. And even though you have a chance of meeting them online, you do also have a chance of meeting them in person. So it doesn't really matter where. You just have to use your discernment. Be very careful. Ask questions. Really look into their background. Pay attention to the details. Okay? Really pay attention to the details. Because this girl thought this dude loved her. She thought that he was, probably going to be the one because she wanted a serious relationship. And this is where it ended up. So now he's doing life in prison and her family had to bury her. Okay, these stories are not being told just to be told. They're being told to let you know that if you have a hard time breaking free from a trauma bond, if you have a hard time breaking free from a domestically abusive relationship or narcissistically abusive relationship, I pray to God that it does not happen to anyone, but these are the extents of what it can lead to if it does not get handled sooner. Okay? Pay attention to those red flags. The smallest ones are the ones you have to pay attention to because you can get rid of the situations when they're this small. This big, it becomes a really bad problem. Well, Stacy, just remember, okay, be her support. Be her support. Okay? But help her understand that the relationship she's in, it's not a healthy one. It is not a healthy one. Okay? And by the sounds of it, that person needs to get help too. That person needs severe help. Someone who suffers alcohol abuse is usually probably someone who has a parent that probably suffers alcohol abuse as well. Okay? But, you know, definitely please, try your best to be her support and really try to encourage her to really do her due diligence when it comes down to these types of relationships because it can get dangerous. And I pray I'm praying that it does work out for her and she does manage to get out sooner rather than later. All right, so let me just see. All right, go guys. Wow, it's 10:03. I just said I was gonna do a pop-in today, but you guys know me. When I do my pop-ins, it's I stay a lot. I overstay my welcome. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, Jess, you know what? Here's what I will tell you. If you have my email address, send me an email, okay, with all your questions, and I'll answer all of them. All right, sweetheart? Because I have to. I'm an old lady. I gotta get ready for bed. I gotta be up early in the morning for work. But anyone who has any other questions, please send me the email narcsurvival101@gmail.com. You can send as many as you want, and I will try to answer. Oh, Bubs are awesome. Thank you. I love you too. But Big Mama gotta go to bed because I'm old and I gotta be up for work tomorrow morning. But I'll tell you what though. Catch me Friday. I'll be out on Friday on my YouTube channel. I'll be out on the live over there. Okay? 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we can talk more about it. We got plenty more to talk. And it's Friday too, so I don't have to be up early on Saturday. Okay? Yes, yes. I'm a vieja, guys. I'm a viejita. I'm old. I'm old. I might trust me. I don't look old in the face, but my knees say another story. A whole another story. Trust me on that one. Um, let me hold on one second. Thank you, Stella. Thank you. Vera, if you click on the link on my bio, it'll take you to my YouTube account, and the email's under one of my videos. But it's Narc Survival 101. Hold on one second. All right. So guys, I put it up there for you, okay? Narc Survival 101 at gmail.com. Send me the email, whatever questions you have. I will be more than glad to answer them for you. And if you want to continue this, we're going to move it over to YouTube on Friday. Intuitive Vibes, Narc Survival 101, which is the link is on my bio. I'll be there at 8 o'clock. So hit the subscribe button so you catch me when the notification comes up that the live will be coming up that day. And we'll talk more about it. We could talk all night. Only thing is I'm not going to drink. I drank last week and I was getting kind of nice with it, but I will definitely be there on Friday, and you get to meet my YouTube family as well, and you get to just have an awesome chat, awesome chit chat. All right, guys. Stella, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Oh, down to earth, we have Bub's Awareness. We have Robert. A queen needs her beauty sleep. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate it. I so appreciate it. Before I start blushing and getting all like, full of myself, because like I said, I've been feeling myself ever since I cut my hair. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Thank you so much for just showing love for the cause and awareness and having patience with me. And just really truly being there. Like you guys don't know, it's just so appreciated. It really truly is. I thank you all so much for the love, for the gifts, for helping me give voices to the voiceless, and for wanting to partake in the healing journey. Really wanted to make a difference in your own lives and make a difference in other people's lives. That truly, truly is a blessing, and I'm so appreciative. I appreciate you all. And you guys are amazing for helping one another, because I see you guys talking to each other. And that's so great that, we can all just come together everywhere, all over the world. We just come together and talk about it. So again, thank you guys. My loves, I wish you all a beautiful night, beautiful remainder of your night. I wish you all a beautiful remainder of your week. I will be back next week. I might be back next Wednesday. I think I might put the lives for Wednesdays just to give myself a little break, and then I'll do my lives on YouTube for Fridays. Okay, so I'll see what day I'll be on next week, but I will be back next week for you guys. Okay, and we're gonna talk about some other stuff because I have some more stuff that I wanted to go over with you guys. All right, guys, besos to all of you. Much love, peace, happiness, God's blessings, God's protection. You know how that goes, and all of that other good stuff. Until next week, guys, same time, same place, all right? I love you all. Have a great night, guys.